Hello there, Scott from Wessex Blades in England. I've got something to open. Yes, I already know what the title of this video is going to be. And it's Jimmy Foster is a Legend. Okay. I had a PM about 2 weeks ago throwing the idea for a video on making a mini lathe so I could make my ferro rod handles at home as opposed to very sporadically at work, and I've only done it 3 times in the 8 years that I've been there. So anyhow, in all the research that I did for trying to make the simplest home lathe, what I saw to me was the simplest was something that this company here do, Grizzly. Now I love Grizzly because everything about them is just like chunky. And they're basically a very simple way of making a lathe out of a piece of kit I've already got. Now, without giving the game away, let's open it up and see what I paid. Fair amount of freight to get here, but I think it was like 18 bucks. I wish I was in America. The prices of some gear that you get in the US of A compared with what is equivalent to be in England is just insane. The difference is ridiculous. So anyway, let's open it up and hopefully we'll see how it works. So come back in a minute, I'll open her up in a bit. Okay, hopefully they're in shot and I've got enough spotlights down on here. There we go, light. How's that? Plenty of light. Okay, we're away from Jimmy Foster, so we're opening them with this. Here we go. What if I can save the delivery thing without slicing through it? It's always cool to save something rather than slice it. Let me in! Squiggles! Go. Put the saw blade knife to bed. Right, big box to little box. Okay, so it's a H8071. Made in China for Grizzly. Go. Fair amount of weight. There it is. There's a vertical bar. Obviously it's covered in grease for, you know, storage. And that, which is basically a bearing and a turn piece of metal with a centre on it. And various mounting bolts, and there should be something to go in a chuck. Should be able to suss it out. There's it too. There. Okay, so that goes in a piece of wood. Then the piece of wood also goes on there. So we're looking at it that way up, and then this, I'm guessing, will go maybe there. So the wood is turning vertically there, idling on that one, driven off of that one. And the amount of gap you got from there should be for a drill press. So my little bench drill I should try and turn into a vertical lathe. So, for a 3-pronged start, a tool rest, a slab of metal with some keyways in order to mount it on your sort of stage, a bearing, another centre, and all the mounts, $18, £10. Whoa. So, let's get this going, see if it fits. If it don't fit, then the only problem I can see is that might be too tall. Well, that's just literally a piece of metal on a bit of a hex bolt idle there. So, to be honest, it should fit in virtually any drill press. So, Mr. Foster, thanks ever so much for sending that over. The potential now is, if I only had half an hour, it wouldn't take me half an hour to sort of cut a knife out, would it? Nah, big black smoke, have to have a shower afterwards. But I could jump out here, whack a piece of wood on, turn out, even if I'm only doing 3 handles at once, half an hour can be used effectively, which is quite handy in the evenings. You know, on a Monday I do a guitar lesson as well, so even now 8 o'clock, 8:30 at night, I could jump out, do half an hour, and then still put the youngest one to bed. So, in terms of flexibility with what we've got, fantastic. So, let's see if we can set it up. I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so I've set it up. And what I notice is when you set it up, it's not straight across the stage of the drill. Just move that out of the way a bit. Okay, it's at an angle. That'll obviously give you a wider base for your bolts. And the tool rest there now has the room. Because if you had it, you know, straight across there, this would end up closer and you wouldn't have the room for the tool rest. So it's in there now. My only problem with this drill press is the stage doesn't come up with a hand crank, so I've got to lever it up and still try and get it straight. It's a fiddle, but I can do it. Now the only little thing I've got to do now is dress up these old tools that I got from a boot sale years ago. So here we have a bit of a, it's a gouge. There we have a skew. That's a very rough scraper, and that's a bowl gouge. Bowl gouge, if I'm clever, will fit on the top radius of the belt grinder. So watch your volume, guys. We're going to have a bit of a play now. So, face mask on. Okay, so what I've basically done, to save time, I've only introduced the actual face of each chisel to different areas of the belt grinder. So the scraper, let's say it's a 75-degree sort of rake with just a tiny amount of clearance on it. So I'm just going to the belt just to give it a bit, just to skim that edge off. The work will come around this way, and you have the clearance, which is that tiny little cute little triangle there, and all you're after is a little bit of clearance underneath. So the only bit that's got any action on the wood will be that corner there. So that edge will be good enough for this. The spindle gouge, all I've been interested in is just the tiniest little edge there, and that'll do. I'll wipe it down, get rid of the rust with a dash of oil. Scraper, gouge. The skew I just addressed straight to the belt, so that'll do for a skew. Again, I'll wipe it down and oil it in a minute. And this, I imagine this bowl gouge initially was this long, so that's how old it is. And I've just touched the front edge. I haven't even gone into the rest of it, but that'll do just to have a little bit of a play. Again, I'll wipe these off, put a drop of oil. I'll see you in a minute. Okay, should be ready to go now. So that's that. That's my scraper. The action's going that way. There's my tool rest. I'm roughing out. Nice chunky one. Slimish one. A fancy one. Getting in the hang of it there, the middle one. Obviously it's like 90 degrees out, so I'm used to going this way and a lot faster. I hadn't fiddled with the speed yet, I just kept it sort of speed, so I'll definitely get better at it. But full credit, thank you Jimmy, that's a beauty. Thanks for doing that for me, mate. Scott's little ferro rod handles, look at that. Here we have a piece of wood I found on the floor in a forest. It's where you need HD cameras, isn't it? It's about as good as I can get it. So, let's go for my 6 blades with his supply bit of kit and Jimmy Foster, and that took me about 45 minutes to an hour. So fire steels are on their way, and that hopefully give me enough capital to buy some 01. Twins is hard. Anyway, let's go for my 6 blades with his new mini drill press lathe. All the best, thanks for joining me again.